Okay, welcome to this installment of the three question series for authors brought to you by Quilltips. I'm Gabriel, your host and the founder of Quilltips. Super excited for today's guest. We're just going to jump right into it. So, first question for our author. Who are you?
So I'm Megan Saint. I am a comedic romance writer and fantasy writer. I'm originally from Kansas City, Kansas, but now I currently live in the Niagara region in Ontario. Yeah, and writing's been kind of my life.
What is your book? Tell us a little bit of background about that and why you like this genre so much.
Yeah, so my book is called Through Dishonest Eyes. I have called it a dark romantic comedy, but I've learned that the terminology for dark romance has become way different than what I would consider it. But it's mostly a book about identity, family dysfunction, and the lies that we tell people to survive. So it follows the main character who is Bree, who is forced to confront who she is and how that's shifting in her life. But it's ridiculously funny because I am sarcastic as can be. And a lot of Bree's dialogue comes from some of my own experiences that I went through in 2015 when my mom was dying of breast cancer.
Yeah.
So awkward laugh moment, but
Mhm.
it makes more sense later.
Megan, how did you get into writing?
So I got into writing very similar to my character in the book's love of lies. Growing up in a household with five other brothers and sisters and two parents and just the general chaos, I found the best way to get attention was to tell the most elaborate story I could about anything. So instead of just simply saying, yeah, I walked home from the bus, it would be, I walked home from the
Yeah.
bus and it was sunny and then there was a dog. And so I found I had a penchant for those kind of storytelling that kind of drew people in. So I did a lot of like student writing when I was younger. I graduated with a degree in communications from the University of Missouri, Kansas City, when I had full intentions of being like an international news correspondent. Then newspapers died. So I took a break for a bit. I did some creative writing on the side. I did a lot of fanfic, but I got back into it much more seriously in 2023 when my son was born just because I needed some sort of outlet. I didn't know yet I had ADHD. Now that I do know that, the creative outlet was desperate because my
Yeah.
brain no longer functioned normally after having a kid.
So something about this kind of dark comedy and romance. There's an element of it where things start to go wrong. There's a little bit of chaos. There's maybe some lies and things just sort of unravel. And is that where a lot of the comedy comes from?
So that's a huge part of it,
Yeah.
especially because I don't like writing non-real characters kind of things. Um, because one of the big things that firmly believe in, there's no such thing as a good person in reality and in books. And so if you have a character that is super, super good, I'm reading it expecting there to be some sort of like catch and they're actually a
Right.
serial killer. My characters all have massive flaws that
Mm.
you're constantly seeing. Like Bree has a tendency to lie because she was raised by a narcissistic mother, and that was her defense mechanism, was just to lie to get out of
Yeah.
whatever she needed to. But it backfires, and eventually she creates these multiple personas of herself to kind of pretend to be somebody else when needed. With that causes the general chaos of who wants to be married to somebody who doesn't have their own identity. That's kind of like the big crux of it. And that's where it kind of becomes this romantic chaos is you have her and her husband who are this depicted as this loving couple, but there's so many cracks in their foundation that it just kind of becomes more and more clear.
Right. They're maybe laughing through the pain a little bit or
One of the slogans was they trauma bonded for
yeah.
love.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So all right. So third question, why did you write this book?
So I wrote this book because back when I started it, I actually had just had my son, and I started to show signs of postpartum depression before I even gave birth. So they put me in a program to work on that, and part of it was a lot of journaling. And I took a lot of notes. And then there was one day I got really angry at my husband, like irrational rage. And I had talked to a couple friends, and they had brought to me, they were like, well, why aren't you looking at like patterns? Are you just mad at him right now, or is this like a general thing? So I went through kind of my notes and found that like this has been my entire life with interactions with men and just how is experienced in my life through trauma. So it kind of became this funny collection of just therapy notes of me talking about wild things. Like one time, the police showed up at my house because my sister had gone missing, and my dad was just kind of like, "Yeah, she does that."
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
it was kind of strange, and like I thought
Yeah.
that was normal stuff. So when I would go to high
Yeah.
school and talk to people, I'd be like, "Yeah, my sister went missing again this weekend.
Yeah.
It's fine."
Yeah.
It was so strange, and it became the norm that I didn't even realize it was traumatic until the older I got. I remember when I originally had written it, one of my beta readers had said, "Hey, this one scene sounds almost too unbelievable to be true." And I was like,
Mm.
that actually
Yeah.
happened, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes reality is weirder than anything we could create in our heads.
Okay, so bring our viewers up to speed here on where you're at with this book.
Yeah, so until August 30th, they can sign up to be an ARC reader if they want to. This is the pre-final edit. It's mostly clean. There's a few fun little paragraphs that were added into the
Mhm.
final version that's currently with my book designer. They can read it, they can review it, and let me know what they think. Into September, I'm going to start getting the print orders through. Now, the ebook should be finished by end of August, and so if people pre-order through my website directly, I will
Mhm.
send them the ebook early. Sadly, I can't do that for Amazon orders and stuff. So if anyone wants to read it a month early, they can go through me. But of course, the print ones will be printed in September, and then everything should be sent to people's doorsteps or emails by October 7th.
So should readers go to your author website?
Yeah, and it's megansaint.com, Megan with an H, because my parents went through the extra letter. And it's
Yep.
Saint spelled out Saint. You can also learn more about my other book series, the Shadowborn Saga. That is
Mhm.
a very large romantic fantasy series, but I don't have a date yet for that one, but it will be
Okay.
coming.
Well, Megan, thank you so much for joining us today. Really excited for your book launch and wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much.